Ah, the Marquis de Sade. A name whispered in hushed tones, like a naughty secret passed around a dinner party. Born Donatien Alphonse François, this 18th century Frenchman wasn't content with just a fancy title. He craved excitement, pleasure, and pushing every boundary society held dear. Now, I'm not one to gossip, but Sade's life was practically begging for a Netflix series. Imagine, if you will, a world of powdered wigs and rigid morals, suddenly rocked by this libertine whirlwind. He indulged in every vice imaginable and then invented a few more just for good measure. Think of him as the original bad boy of literature. His antics, too scandalous for even the most liberal of salons. His writings, let's just say they made even the most seasoned censors blush. And his legacy? Well, that's what we're here to unravel, isn't it? Buckle up, dear readers, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Now let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the orgy in the chateau. Sade's reputation for libertine sexuality wasn't exactly unearned. He believed that pleasure in all its forms was the ultimate goal of human existence. And he wasn't shy about putting his philosophy into practice, but it was his writing that truly cemented his infamy. Justine shocked readers with its explicit content. 120 Days of Sodom remained unpublished for over a century. These weren't just books, they were grenades lobbed into the heart of polite society. You can't go around penning literary hand grenades without expecting some blowback. Sade's escapades, both on and off the page, finally caught up with him. Imprisonment became a recurring theme in his life. He even penned some of his most famous works from behind bars. Talk about commitment to your craft. The Bastille, that infamous symbol of royal tyranny, became his temporary home. But it was his later confinement in the Charenton Asylum that truly captured the imagination. Declared insane, perhaps for his unconventional views, rather than any genuine madness, Sade continued to write, albeit under the watchful eyes of doctors who probably needed therapy themselves after reading his work. Imagine their faces as they skimmed through his latest manuscript, Philosophy in the Bedroom. This philosophical dialogue, set against a backdrop of, shall we say, vigorous activity, was classic Sade provocative, challenging and utterly impossible to ignore. For those who are unaware, some say that Sade created a beginner's guide to debauchery called Philosophy in the Bedroom. What in heaven's name? Oh well now, about this Philosophy in the Bedroom. Was it a how-to manual for aspiring libertines or a deeper exploration of power, morality and the hypocrisy of society? The answer, as with most things Sade, is probably a bit of both. On the surface, it's a wild romp through every taboo imaginable. But beneath the explicit scenes, there's a sharp critique of religious hypocrisy, political corruption, and the arbitrary nature of morality. Sade, ever the provocateur, used sex as a lens to examine the darker aspects of human nature. He challenged everything, questioned everyone, and left a trail of scandal in his wake. Was he a monster, a visionary, a misunderstood genius, simply ahead of his time? The debate rages on centuries later, and that, my friends, is the mark of a truly fascinating mind. Legacy of a libertine, wicked, wild and misunderstood. So what are we to make of the Marquis de Sade? Was he simply a depraved deviant, obsessed with his own pleasure? Or was there something more to this complex and contradictory figure? His legacy is a tangled web of controversy, censorship and enduring fascination. His name has become synonymous with sexual transgression, his writings still capable of shocking even the most jaded modern reader. But beyond the scandal and the shock value, there's a depth and complexity to Sade's work that continues to intrigue scholars and artists alike. He was a philosopher of sorts, albeit one who expressed his ideas through unconventional and often unsettling means. He forced us to confront the darkest aspects of human nature, to question our own morals and desires. And in doing so, he left an indelible mark on the Western forefront of thought. As always, we thank you for joining us again here at Philosophical Flicks. And as we conclude, we bid adieu to the Marquis de Sade, a man who lived life on his own terms. His story is a cautionary tale, but also a reminder of the strange beauty in dark places. Thank you once again for joining me on this tour of one of history's most scandalous figures. Remember, it's all fun and games until someone ends up in the Bastille, or a prison, if you will. So let's try to stay away from that by all means necessary. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more intriguing content. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. Take care of yourselves and each other.